Hey guys, I'm currently getting ready for a backpacking trip this weekend. I'm going to be doing 3 days and 2 nights on the Georgia section of the Appalachian Trail. So I figured that while I'm getting ready and preparing, I would do a quick video to show you guys exactly what all I put in my pack for a 3-day backpacking trip. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. So before I talk about what's inside the pack, let me take a minute to talk about the pack itself. This is my pack. It's a Teton Sports Hiker 3700. I purchased this about 2 years ago on Amazon for about 70 bucks. And I had been looking around for a pack that was good quality, but also lightweight, semi-lightweight, and within my budget range. And I ended up finding this pack. I purchased it kind of thinking it would just be a temporary buy until I was able to afford to upgrade my pack, but I really haven't had a need to upgrade ever since I bought it. It's held up great. It's got plenty of room. It's got a rain cover. I would say I probably have about 30 days worth of hikes on this pack, and it's held up well. So if you're looking for a pack that is lightweight, that's going to hold up well, but that is especially a cheap pack, I'd highly recommend taking a look at the Teton stuff. There are a lot better quality and lighter packs out there for the size, but if you're looking for a good budget, good low price pack, I would suggest taking a look at this. I've been very impressed with it. So that's it for the pack. Let's take a look at everything that is inside it. All right, so this is it. This is everything that I have in my pack for a 3-day trip. Now let me go ahead and say, first of all, that backpacking, just like any hobby or sport, has a lot to do with personal preference. So a lot of this is just kind of my preference, or at least the gear that I have right now. Some guys try to go as ultralight as possible. For me, my goal is just to enjoy the hike as much as possible. And sometimes I think that means carrying a little bit more weight, things that I enjoy having on the trip. So for me, I'm willing to carry an extra couple of pounds if I think that it's going to make my trip worth carrying the extra weight. All right, so starting off, I'll talk about my clothes really quickly. These are the clothes that I'll be carrying inside of my pack. I don't have my clothes up here that I'll be wearing the day of the hike, but these are the extra clothes that I'll be carrying. I keep my clothes inside of a dry bag. Even though my pack does have a rain cover, you never know what's going to happen, and I always want to make sure that no matter what, who knows if your hydration pack could burst or something inside of your pack. I want to make sure that no matter what, I will have dry clothes. So I keep them in a dry bag like this one. I just have a pair of socks in here for each day. I have some long johns, some gloves, and my down jacket, and a pair of underwear for each day. That's about it for the extra clothes that I'll be carrying. Everything else will be on my back. So next is going to be my food. Now this is my food bag, and I'm not really going to bother going through what's in it right now. I'm going to do a separate episode on this actually after I get back from the trip, because I've always done freeze-dried meals, backpacker's pantry, or mountain house, but I'm doing kind of an experiment with this trip and going with only food that I got from my local Kroger store. So be looking out for that episode later on. I'll be trying to go through some cheap and lightweight backpacking meals that you can get just at your local grocery store. So be looking out for that. I'm going to set this aside here. So this is actually my cook kit inside of this measuring cup. This is actually an aluminum measuring cup. This is what I use to cook or boil my water in. It's very lightweight. The blended fuel canister for my stove. This is the stove itself. I got this thing for about $6 on Amazon. Screws right onto the top of the fuel canister. Works great. I will say this is something that I highly recommend. This is a pot grabber. I got this for about $10 on, I want to say REI's website. And this thing is great to keep you from burning your fingers off, which is incredibly helpful. I also have here a lighter, just in case the igniter were to go out on my stove, or who knows what might happen anytime you need to make fire. A lighter's pretty handy to have on hand. So that is my cook kit. Next, we have toilet paper. Keep this in a dry bag so that I do not have soggy toilet paper. Poop scoop. Here I have an REI backpacking towel. This I actually got from one of their REI sales. I wasn't sure that I wanted one or needed one, but this has actually been great just for anytime you need to clean or dry something. And I'll tell you, most of all, if you end up with a rainy night or a heavy dew and everything's wet the next morning, having something to wipe it off before you pack it up can make your life a lot easier. So highly recommend grabbing one of these. They really don't add much weight at all to your pack, and they can be very useful. Next, this is actually something that I've just started carrying in my pack. This is some Dr. Bronner's 18-in-1 soap. I've poured it into a 3-ounce travel bottle so that I only have a small amount that I have to take with me. But this stuff is great because it's got so many uses. I've kind of printed off a list of those and taped on it for anything that I might use on the trip. For example, dental cleaning, mouthwash, shampoo, body wash, face wash, deodorant, hand soap, laundry, dishes, and clearing congestion. I will post a link to exactly how to use this soap for all of those uses at the bottom of the page. But highly recommend this stuff. It's great having multiple use gear. So the fact that I can use this to wash dishes with it or wipe my face down at the end of a day when you've been sweating, you've got sunscreen caked on your face, having some soap to wash off with is a lifesaver. So this is the peppermint scented stuff, and I really like it. So I would highly recommend grabbing some, keeping that with you on the trip. All right, so next over here we have my Sawyer mini filter. I got this for about 20 bucks on Amazon. I've had to use it maybe 3 or 4 times on a trip. Once actually was on a kayak trip where we had to filter water for the last half of a 4-day trip directly out of the river. But it works great. You can squeeze it or use it as a gravity-fed water filter. Even if you don't specifically think you'll need a filter, for the weight that you'd carry and the cost, it's worth having a water filter in your pack just in case the worst case scenario happens. You know you'll be able to have clean drinking water. So I love this thing. Here I have my Coast headlamp. This thing's bright. It's done well. It's lasted me probably about 2 years so far. Still going strong. This is really the only light that I carry with me whenever I'm backpacking. I just don't see a need for having another flashlight or a lantern, but that's just me. Next I have some paracord in case I need to string up my food or who knows what you might need. Keep some extra paracord with me. This is my medical kit. This is the Adventure Medical .5. They have a couple different versions of this, but this is the ultralight watertight version. I've had this for a couple of trips now. It's done great. It does keep everything dry. If your kayak becomes submerged in water, I found that out. But yeah, it's great. It comes with some good stuff in the kit, and I've actually been able to add a few things of my own to it. One thing I will say that I have added for this trip for backpacking is moleskin. Moleskin is great if you start getting blisters on your feet from your boots, and you're able to put that moleskin adhesive. So you just put that right on your right over the blister, and it prevents the blister from getting any worse than it already has. So I would definitely recommend grabbing some of this. Make sure you have plenty of it whenever you do a backpacking trip. So this is what some would call an essentials kit. There actually is a list that is, I believe, called the 10 Essentials of Backpacking. I don't have all of that inside of here, but these are just some general things that I like to be able to grab just this case and know that I've got these things with me, such as tissue paper in case your nose starts running, colder weather, higher altitudes. I've also got some spare Band-Aids, cough drops, duct tape, my toothbrushes in here, as well as, what else do I have? I've got some earplugs, some bug spray, just a couple of extra little things in case I forget, my medical kit. I'm not out of Band-Aids. If I am at a place where I know the bugs are going to be bad and I forget my big can of bug spray, I've at least got enough in here as a backup. So this is just a handy little pack to have around to make sure that you've at least got your bare essentials covered. So this is my little Gerber dime, little multi-tool. I just got this in recently. but I'm already enjoying having it. It's got some pliers, scissors, just little handy things to have around like a knife. Very handy to have on a backpacking trip. Now on this trip, we are expecting some rain. Actually, for the first 2 days, I believe we're going to be in rain. So here I just have my packable rain jacket and as well as my rain pants. These here are my Vapor collapsible bottles. I got these on Amazon. I absolutely love them. They are a lot more durable than what I expected them to be, and I kind of prefer these over carrying a Nalgene, at least whenever I'm backpacking, because the bag will collapse as you drink the water out of it, so you don't have extra room and water sloshing around in your pack as you're walking. Not to mention these things are extremely light, so highly recommend these. Over here I have my Source Outdoors hydration pack. This is the wide pack 3 liter. I actually have some water in there at the moment. I've had this for probably about 2 years now, and it's lasted incredibly well. Never had a leak or an issue with it. And I love this because it's got the sliding top on it, makes it very easy to clean. Love this hydration pack. So this is my backpacking seat actually. This is just something, a little extra padding to put on the ground whenever I sit down. It's great to have a little extra padding, but it's also great because it's a closed cell foam, and so it's kind of waterproof, so if the ground is wet, you don't have to worry about having wet pants whenever you get off the ground. Cut this out of a roll of, I believe is a yoga mat that I got out at Walmart or Target. Very lightweight, very handy to have around, especially if the ground is wet. I'll set that over there. All right, so now we're getting into the fun stuff here. I'm going to be hammock camping on this trip, so I've got my jungle nest. This thing is great. It's got the attached bug net to it, and the thing I like about that is it's actually a little bit less weight total than if you were to combine regular double nest and their bug net system. So love this thing. stuff is a little pricey, but I have yet to see anything that was bad quality come from the products, and so I do think that they are worth the extra price to go ahead and get something I heard nothing but good things about them, and I've loved the stuff that I've had from them. Along with that, I have my Pro Fly. Very handy to have on weekends like this when it's going to be raining, like I said, for the 2 days. This thing here, once again, kind of pricey. I want to say this runs around $70-$80, but lightweight, very durable, very handy to have, especially when it's raining. Here I have a Cedar Summit dry sack. I use this actually to put my boots in whenever I get into the hammock, and then I'm able to kind of hang them underneath the hammock or even just set them on the ground, but I don't have to worry about critters getting inside them, or if it rains, having wet boots whenever I get up the next day. There are very few things worse than having to hike with wet boots. So I would recommend getting a dry sack of some sort. And here we have, oh yes, of course, my Atlas straps to hold up the whole sleep system. This is my air pad. This is a Climate Static V. Actually got pretty lucky at an REI garage sale. Picked this thing up for about $15. I think they normally run around 60, but it's extremely lightweight. It's a full body sleeping pad. I put it in the hammock because it helps insulate so well, and I sleep great on it. Had this for also probably about 2 years, and it's held up great. Very, very impressed with it. Highly recommend that. This is my Cocoon silk mummy liner. It doesn't insulate as well as some of the other fleece liners and things like that, but it's extremely lightweight, extremely small. And I actually do like this during the summer because sometimes during the summer here in Georgia, it gets so hot. This is what I'll take just as my sleeping bag, just to have a little blanket, basically a little sheet to cover up with. It's extremely comfortable. Really like this. These are the stakes for my rainfly. This is my inflatable pillow that I use on backpacking trips. As you can see, it's extremely small, extremely lightweight, and I do have a self-inflating pillow. I try to keep that just for kayak trips or shorter backpacking trips when I can afford a little more weight there. But for backpacking trips like I'm doing this weekend, this thing is great. So last but certainly not least is the all-important sleeping bag. This is the Sea to Summit Trek. It's a 20-degree dry-down sleeping bag. Picked this up at an REI garage sale for about $100. I think it's normally a $250 bag. So thank you, REI. Absolutely love this bag. It's small, it's lightweight, it's compact, and it keeps me warm, so it does its job. That's about it. That's everything that I've got in my pack for a 3-day trip. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe. We'll have more like this coming to you soon, and hopefully I'll see you out there on the trail.